Stay away, I'm allergic to the campus beauty. The department sweetheart publicly rejected my milk tea, saying she was afraid I drugged it. So I turned and handed it to the campus beauty, watching from the sidelines. Want a drink? Might be poisoned. Her eyes lit up. Really? Then I definitely have to try it. Later, the department sweetheart asked me with red-rimmed eyes, why wasn't it me back then? The campus beauty wrapped her arms around my neck and said, because the evidence of his ill intentions toward me is right here in my medical report. Pregnant for 6 weeks. Got it? Thud. The cup of cheese grape tea I'd waited half an hour for, carefully guarded all the way here, was gently pushed aside by Lin Weiwei's fingertip. The plastic cup clinked dully against the table. Her delicate eyebrows furrowed slightly, her voice carrying a perfectly calibrated blend of polite regret and cool detachment. Joe you, I appreciate the thought. But I'd rather not drink something of such questionable origin. She paused. Curious onlookers had already turned their attention toward us, their stares like tiny needles pricking my skin. Then, clearly and just loud enough for those nearby to hear, she added, who knows what kind of dirty things might be in it? My hand froze midair, fingers clenched so tightly around the cup that my knuckles turned white. A rush of blood surged to my head, my ears ringing. Asterisk questionable origin, dirty things. Asterisk I stared at her flawlessly made-up face and suddenly found it strange, almost laughable. Whispers passed around me like mosquitoes. TSK, rejected again. How many times is that now? How can someone like him even dream of someone like Goddess Weiwei? Doesn't he know his place? Seriously, bringing milk tea, so tacky. Who knows if he had bad intentions or not? Shame and a surge of helpless anger clashed in my chest. I almost wanted to smash the damn cup right then and there. But in the next second, my peripheral vision caught a quiet figure sitting by the window in the back row, someone who had been silently reading this whole time, Su Wen, the campus beauty. Unlike Lin Weiwei's sharp, attention-demanding kind of beauty, Su Wen was different. She was always so quiet, like a plant growing in solitude. Now she looked up, her clear gaze calmly sweeping over the spectacle, a faint, knowing amusement flickering at the corners of her lips. On impulse, I pulled back the milk tea I'd been offering Lin Weiwei. With a twist of my wrist, I walked straight over to Su Wen. I slapped the controversial cheese grape tea onto her desk, this time with a louder thud and forced a smile, half self-mocking, half defiant. Hey, want a drink? Before she could respond, I raised my voice deliberately, playing into the accusation Lin Weiwei had just made, though, the department sweetheart just said this might be drugged. Could be poison, you dare to try it. The entire classroom fell silent. Every eye turned to me, and Su Wen, including Lin Weiwei's, wide with shock and sudden scrutiny. Su Wen blinked, clearly surprised. Her long lashes fluttered as she glanced at me, then at the purple liquid on her desk, plump grape chunks still floating inside. To everyone's astonishment, her beautiful eyes showed no trace of disgust or fear. Instead, they slowly lit up with genuine amusement, the corners crinkling into a real, radiant smile. She reached out with her pale hand, snatched the cup, shoved in a straw, and took a big, unhesitating sip. The cool liquid slid down her throat. She closed her eyes in satisfaction, then looked at me, her voice carrying a unique, lazy kind of magnetism. Really? Then I have to try it. She took another sip before finishing slowly, like a mischievous cat. After all, I've never tasted cheese grape tea that could actually kill someone. Dead silence. I watched her cheeks puff slightly as she sucked on the drink, watched the unguarded delight on her face. The anger and bitterness in my chest strangely began to dissolve, replaced by an unexpected lightness and a sudden urge to laugh. Lin Weiwei's face, at that moment, turned completely ashen. Not poison milk tea acted like a strange switch, disrupting the parallel paths between me, Su Wen, and Lin Weiwei. After that day, an unspoken connection formed between Su Wen and me. We kept running into each other in the library, and she'd casually point to the empty seat beside her. We'd bump into each other in the cafeteria, naturally swapping tips on which food window to avoid that day. Once, caught in the rain without an umbrella, I was sprinting toward the dorm with my backpack over my head when she called out from behind and shared her umbrella with me. She wasn't like Lin Weiwei, always putting on a show. Instead, she was weirdly down-to-earth and fun. She'd mock her professor's accent, sprint like a maniac for the last pineapple bun, and replied to my silly memes with a string of unladylike ha-ha-has that made me snort out loud. Lin Weiwei, on the other hand, seemed rattled by Su Wen's bold interception. She started showing up around me more often. First, returning a book I didn't even remember lending her. then liking and commenting on my basketball game photos on social media with a tone of forced familiarity. Most recently, she coincidentally ran into me at my favorite study room, clutching a stack of books, looking pitiful as she asked if I could help her save a seat. I looked at her perfectly lined eyes and her hesitant expression, and felt nothing. Not even annoyance, just boredom. Turns out, the grass is always greener. And for some people, the reverse is true too. That weekend, after a sweaty basketball game with my buddies, we were heading to the convenience store for cold drinks when someone stopped me at the corner. It was Lin Weiwei. She was clearly dressed up, dress, heels, glowing in the golden sunset. Beautiful, yes. But the look in her eyes mingled with resentment, wounded pride, and the stubborn determination made me instinctively frown. "Zhou Yu," she said, her voice deliberately soft, "can we talk?" My friends exchanged glances and tactfully whistled away. "What is it?" I asked, flatly. She bit her lip, as if steeling herself. "Zhou Yu, about that milk tea. If I hadn't said those things back then, would you have?" She paused, her eyes glistening, watering up as she stared at me. "Would you have kept liking me? Why later ... Why couldn't that milk tea have been given to me without hesitation?" She stood there like she'd been deeply wronged, like I was the one who ruined everything. I looked at her, suddenly finding it absurd. Was it only because Suwen * drank * that poison that you now think it was something precious? Before I could speak, a bright, amused voice cut in from behind me, stopping me mid-thought. Because the evidence of his ill intentions toward me, I whipped around. Suwen stood there. I hadn't noticed her arrive. She was holding a small plastic bag, as if she'd just come from the convenience store. In 2 steps, she slipped her arm around my neck, leaning into me with easy familiarity, half hanging off my shoulder. Her light, fruity candy scent enveloped me instantly. She looked at Lin Weiwei, whose face had gone rigid, and waved the folded paper in her hand like a trophy. Her smile was pure mischief, smug, possessive, triumphant. She paused deliberately, savoring the way Lin Weiwei's face drained of color. Then, slowly, clearly, enunciating each word like a final verdict, "Pregnant for 6 weeks." She arched a brow at the now frozen Lin Weiwei, her tone mock innocent, utterly cruel. "Got it?"